If you could choose a theme for a custom planner spread, what would you choose? Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I'm working on 3 brand new custom planner spreads that I'm very pumped about. Let me just share with you some of the details. First, a faith spread for Rachel in the venti size, which is 8.5 by 11. I'm going to use some of the bits and pieces of the Art of Noticing kit from Illustrated Faith, so I'm excited about that. And then Danielle requested a hope themed spread, and we're going to do the grande vertical size for her. I love Spoonful of Faith. It was one of my favorite collaborations from the Happy Planner, and so I'm going to use all of my Spoonful of Faith books and work on that spread. And then we have Rhonda, who requested a cozy winter spread. I Love Winter from Keleva Plan is perfect for that, so I'm excited to work on that for Rhonda. So I will put you all on fast forward. I will link everything that I use down in the description box below. Otherwise, let's go. First up is going to be Rachel's spread. And in this video, we are going to talk a lot about how to create a cluster, specifically sticker cluster, but really creating clusters of any sort are going to follow some similar rules. So let's start out with what is a cluster. A cluster is a grouping of elements on your page. So for instance, I'm starting with some beautiful cards from Illustrated Faith that have some inspiring messages on them, and I'm cutting out some different elements that will go behind the cards from the actual bag that the Illustrated Faith pieces came in. And one of the rules for putting together a cluster is making sure that the color scheme goes together. So you're pulling elements from what I would consider a focal point of the cluster, which in this case would be those specific cards. I'm pulling the colors from those, and then I'm making sure other pieces are going to align with those colors. Now, that's really easy when you're working with like kits like you can receive from Illustrated Faith because they're all designed to go together anyway. But when you're combining different stickers together, like you'll see in later processes on this video, you'll see you have to really make sure you're picking out the elements. Now, in order to give this a little bit more of an organic feel, I decided to bring in watercolor. The pieces I was working with first were very blocky. There were the cards, there were the blocks in the background, and I wanted to put that together with kind of the free form feel of the watercolor. The paper that I'm using, this is actually the Faith Planner insert that is available in my shop, and it holds up really well to watercolor. Did it wrinkle a little bit? Yes, any paper is going to wrinkle when you add the water to it, but it did not go through the page, which is fantastic. I love having good paper. It just makes all the difference. So I have that in the background. I put it down, let it dry, and now I'm adding some of the bigger elements in on top of it. Something else I always consider when I'm working with clusters is big to little. So you're thinking of the bigger elements that are part of the cluster, and then you're adding little detail moments as well. Sometimes we get way too focused just on the big parts, and we kind of forget that they need those little extra touches. And you'll see me kind of work in that way, starting with getting these stickers down. I'm starting with the biggest stickers. These are fall leaf stickers. I wanted it to feel as if they were just kind of tumbling across the page. So I'm working with those, making sure we're balancing out color among the different clusters. Once I'm good with where those are, then I'm working with slightly smaller fall leaves. And then the last thing I'm going to start picking up would be some of these star stickers. Those are the smallest elements. So I'm looking for ways to work from big to small. The stars will be one of the smallest pieces I end up adding. I also wanted to work with some stamps. I needed something really faint. This barely even shows up on camera, but it does show up a little bit better in person. I wanted something that connected my clusters together because I said I really wanted it to look like it was tumbling across the page. This is some gold ink from scrapbook.com and a star stamp from Illustrated Faith, and I'm just adding that element. It has a tiniest bit of sheen to it. There's still going to be tons of writing room room for Rachel to work with, but I think the stamp, it's subtle. Like I said, you can barely see it on camera, but I think it comes out really nicely, filling in a few more of the gaps with the tiniest stars. And then I just have to cut the page apart. So I had some elements that I brought together, big to little, similar colors, and the 3 clusters across the page really brought the whole spread together. Rachel, I hope you love your fall themed faith spread. Next up is a spread for Danielle. She requested a vertical style spread. Again, this is one of the inserts from my shop, and she wanted the theme of hope. And as soon as I read that, the first thing I thought of was Spoonful of Faith, because I love the inspiring, hopeful messages in all of the Spoonful of Faith sticker books. I'm actually pulling from one that is designed for big planners, and it works really well. You don't have to stick with the size stickers that go with your planners. So this is what I would call a classic size planner. It's grande size in my shop, but these are big size stickers, and by creating clusters and having them overlap each other, they still work within within the spread. Just because it's a smaller spread doesn't mean you can't use the bigger stickers. Now in this particular spread, I'm not just creating clusters, but I'm wanting them to be clusters of functional pieces. And so as I'm putting together and figuring out where functional boxes are going to go so that Danielle can write all of the things that she needs for the week, I am going to then consider how I can combine a decorative element within each cluster. So we have the 2 reflect boxes. One of them has the beautiful hand that says hope grows here. One of them is going to have some florals. I'm going to start to add little bits and pieces of florals to the other functional boxes as well. To me, again, just like the previous spread, it makes it look a little bit less boxy when you're putting these together, bringing in curved elements or more organic looking with florals, watercolor, splashes, anything like that. That's going to just make it look a little bit more like I said, organic feels like the right word, just less boxy. Sometimes when you're working with all the rectangles, it can just feel so boxy. So I'm making sure that they all include some sort of decorative element. And then I'm working with color balance as well. In this case, again, all of these are going to go together because they're all from the same sticker books. I'm making sure the color is balanced across the page. I don't want clusters to be all of one color. I'm mixing and matching and moving that color around the page. So like the peachy color in one cluster is in the reflect box, in one cluster is in a double box, and in one cluster is brought in through the florals. The blue at one time is brought in with a box in one element and brought in with a small floral detail with another one. So there's different ways that I'm bringing in the colors within each cluster, but that's balancing it out across the whole spread. All right, as you can see, I went ahead and laid down some washi tape at the bottom. It is like a light peachy washi tape that has a grid on it. And now I'm just transferring things. I was working on top of sticker guides. That is a definite tip. If you are working on clustering, sticker guides will be your friend. Sticker guides are a plastic sheet that you can pick up from the Happy Planner. One side has a matte finish, the other side has a shiny finish. You want to use the matte side. It allows you to place stickers and elements down and then easily move them around. You can test them out on different parts of the page. You can lift up the stickers and move things around without tearing, which is something that happens if you change your mind once it's already on the page. Some people also like to use wax paper. That works just as well. And is something that a lot of us just have in our homes. You can just put the stickers down on the wax paper and try clustering them, layering them together. So I highly recommend using one of those if you're starting to experiment with clustering. Now let's talk about the size of clusters. In general, I like for clusters to have at least 3 elements. Generally for me, I tend to go more up to around 5 elements. Usually it's an odd number. It just depends on the size of the pieces that you are using. Obviously you can't have 5 huge elements together. If you have one big element like that double box that I have up in the upper right hand corner, then all of the other elements are going to need to be a little bit smaller. So not only are you looking at the number in each cluster, odd number is preferable, but you're looking at the pieces and the sizing of the pieces in the cluster. They have to be different yet comparable. Here's what I mean. If I had that big double box, I could not add just one tiny little box to it, one tiny skinny box. That would look odd. It would look it would look mishmash, like not really comparable. You have to pick pieces that are different but still work together, not so vastly different that it just doesn't make sense. All right, so last element that I'm bringing in on this page is going to be a little dotted dashed line around a few of the pieces. Again, I'm just working on bringing colors and contrast to the page. It's a lot of pastels, so I thought the dotted black line or dashed black line kind of added an extra little detail. Once that's done, the page is done. Danielle, I hope you love your Hope theme spread, and I hope it brings a smile to your face. All right, next up is a spread for Rhonda. And like I said, she wanted a cozy winter spread. I pulled this brand new sticker book from Kelva Plan. It's called I Love Winter. It is fabulous. I pulled that, and I also ended up pulling some of the new PET tape from Wrong Wrong Devo that is actually called Cozy Winter. She has a beautiful box set, and I'm going to combine the two sticker books to show you that you don't always have to stick with one sticker book. You can actually combine elements from multiple places and still create some successful clusters. So I said before when I was working on spread number 1, it's all about the colors. So to bring in the elements, I had to choose sticker books that had some complementary colors. These Wrong Wrong PET tape stickers really focus heavy on the blues, and it picks up the blues that are in the Kelva Plan stickers that I am using. So Kelva Plan stickers also have like a golden color in them, and they have a pink. Primarily, the Wrong Wrong stickers are going to focus on the blue, so we're going to make sure that that blue is incorporated throughout to kind of bring the spread together as a whole. Now, I'm focusing very much on the decorative element first in these clusters, making sure the decorations are moved around the page, and then I'm looking at where within each decorative cluster that I already have going on, where can I add some functionality? Because of course, with these planner spreads, we need them to be functional. It's so much fun to play with the stickers and put them down, but in the end, if you can't write on your planner spread, then it kind of defeats the purpose. You know what I mean? So I'm looking to see where I can add the functionality, making sure that there is at least one box on every day. That's pretty darn important. See, I was working with this tiny box. I was thinking, oh, I'll layer it with this big box down here. That just didn't make sense. It was a little bit of a struggle figuring out what to do over here. I do end up adding one tiny box, but it's not really meant to be a cluster with the bottom portion. It is clustered with the top. All right, once I feel pretty good about where things are going to go on the page, I'm going to start transferring them over again. I love planning on those sticker guides because it gives me a chance to plan and then move over so I don't have to struggle with where things are going to go. Most of the stickers I'm working with, the decorative stickers, have or are on clear sticker paper or are that PET tape, which is also clear. So I do have a lot of whiteout that has to happen as I'm putting things down on the page, just so that it doesn't disrupt the images too much on this particular spread. I just love how this one comes together. This is like my ideal snow day would be staying in pajamas and drinking coffee and cuddling up on the couch kind of all day long. That was my snow day jam. I'm not super big on getting out in the snow. I just want to see it through the window. So I love this for a cozy winter spread. I do hope that you were able to pick up a few tips and tricks on how to cluster your stickers. The biggest advice I give to people is just start trying it. Just start playing with your stickers, seeing what works for you, seeing if you are someone that is a less is more kind of person, or if you're like me and a little bit more of a maximalist. You have to experiment to see what really catches your eye and what works for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I do have the supplies that I used linked down below, so be sure to check that out. Heads up, some of those are affiliate links. It doesn't cost you any more, but it does help me out so much when you are able to shop those links. I do want to give a huge shout out to my entire Patreon community. We are spending the month of November doing some junk journaling, and then we have a fabulous project coming up in December. If you've been thinking about it, now is a great time to jump on over to patreon.com/ScrappyWife and find a tier that works for you. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.